Welcome to Blessed Boys, a podcast that's ready for the 9-inning challenge. We are one Saints fan, one Cowboys fan, and tonight, one Padres fan. Well, I guess I should introduce this as one Rangers fan, one Astros fan, and one Padres fan. Joining us tonight is Trang, the San Diego Padres host of co-host of the Pentacular podcast, I believe. She is joining us tonight, opening day in baseball. The Yankees and the Giants kicking things off to start with. So we're going to have her on to talk a little bit of baseball tonight. So welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show, Trang.
Thanks, guys. I'm so glad to be back. You have to introduce me as Seahawks champ.
Oh yeah.
Well, I do want to talk some Seahawks too. We'll get the baseball out of the way, but I do want to get to some Seahawks news. Some news dropped today about the Seahawks. Actually, we can talk about if we have a moment. But let's just chat a little bit about baseball, Trang. So I don't follow it as much as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know Brandon, you're pretty on the.
I stay tuned in. I don't watch as many games or listen to many games as I used to, but I still have the scores popping up every night, so I do know what the Rangers are doing.
Your finger's on the pulse. Yeah, you got. Okay. So, what's some big storylines? They could be Padres related. They could be just big picture MLB related that we're kind of looking out for going into 2026 here.
For me, I'm just glad there's an ABS. That's it. I need to call the umps out because there's just so many. I feel like plays that are coming to the end by inches, and they're just I feel like it ruins baseball so much. And I think that's the one thing for me that I'm very excited about. And clearly, we had a glimpse in spring training, and obviously they overused it in spring training. And they kept spamming the button, which is great. But obviously, there's a limit in regular season. But that was nice because it really showed that hey, you guys need to do better.
Well, what's great about it is that it's quick. It's a tap on your head. They pop it up. It's not. You're not going back to the replay video and looking in the monitor to watch the pitch over again.
Yeah.
I did see one of the things was they showed one pitch that was dead center strike zone, and the guy was immediately tapping his head.
Yeah, how we get. Yep. Yeah, there's the abuse of power, which is great, but no, obviously you can't do that during the regular season.
That's a good one. How do you feel about the Padres going into this year? I mean, obviously, I assume the Dodgers will enter as the World Series favorites. So you've got an uphill battle with them in your division. You've still got the Giants in your division. You do get to pick on the Rockies a little, so that's a plus. But the Diamondbacks still have a lot of young talent. So how do you feel about the Padres' chances going in? And who do you think outside of the Dodgers? Who do you see kind of vying for the chance to win the pennant and go to the World Series, both in the National League and the American League this year?
Oh, that's a tough one. Well, first, you did mention we could pick on the Rockies, and I feel like they actually pick on us.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say shout out to Donnie, who's our Broncos fan, also a suffering Rockies fan at the moment.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't suffer when he plays against the Padres. So.
Oh, is it that kind of thing? Okay.
Yeah. For some reason, it's oh my God, we are afraid to play the Rockies. We've had games in the past where it was the game was a football game, and we had a score of 15-13 or 16, crazy. Yeah. Or it could just be every year we want somebody gone from the team, they'll kill us.
So they turn into the 27 Yankees when they play you.
But for some strange reason, and it's when Nolan Arenado was still on there, it was oh, he was a pain, right? But he was gone. We're yes. Yeah. And then it was obviously Charlie Blackmon, and then I forgot there's two other guys. This year might be Tovar. Who knows? But it's just it's an ongoing. So Rockies. They still might be at the bottom of the division regardless, but it's that's the fear. The Diamondbacks, I feel they have good bats. They're an in-play type of team. Pitching wise, it's looking terrible for them, in my opinion. The bullpen is not. It's really ugly. Starting pitching, they really have a lot of injuries, so I'm not sure there. But the crazy part is a lot of people have them above us. But us as in the Padres, I don't play the Padres, but but I do. Giants are just whatever. They always have Giants above Dodgers. You guys know that, but
you get no respect.
You're the Rodney Dangerfield of of the NL West. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just
No
like,
respect.
and I was like, do you guys see our roster? Offensively, we look good. We have really great at bats. I think. I think adding Castellanos, Miguel Andujar is like, I feel like he's underrated and no one's really talking about that addition. That's great. Bullpen depth is crazy. Like, I think that will save us. But our starting pitching rotation is like, we have like 2 guys. Musgrove is on IL.
I'm gonna show my lack of baseball knowledge here. Castellanos, is he the guy that always homers when like a bad world event happens?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep,
Okay.
that's him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you got the World War III breaking out, so that's probably
Yeah,
a
I mean-
good sign for you.
Perfect,
he should be
right?
he should be lighting it up in that situation.
So I'm hoping to see a home run against Skubal tomorrow. So World
was-
War III starts tomorrow, guys.
There you
What
go.
do we what's the betting odds on Castellanos homer tomorrow?
The home run shot.
Might need to put a little money down on that one.
Yeah, there.
Yeah. I mean, I even tweeted it out before. I was like, if Castellanos can hit a homer off Skubal tomorrow, the mayor has to lift up those like parking in downtown, like that whole thing. Like that's going for me. That's my like little bet right now because we need it.
So you've got Nick Pivetta going tomorrow. How do you feel? So you said you're short on rotation. I think Nick Pivetta being your opening day starter probably kind of underscores that issue.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, he was a dog last year. It was a great addition. But it's like 1-2. It's like then Michael King the next day, and then it's like Randy Vasquez. And then hey, Herman Marquez maybe, and
Herman Marquez. I know that
Walker
name.
Bueller.
Bueller.
Yeah.
Bueller.
Yeah, see, like it's like, oh yeah, and it's like maybe who else, and it's just like a bullpen saves our lives, I guess.
No Kevin Browns on the staff this year. Or, Andy Ashby's or anyone of that ilk.
The funny thing you said that is we had a year where the starting pitching really became slim, and we just ended up getting really washed players like that. And then what happened? They just end up injured, and our rotation just stinks. So if anybody's listening out there,
so the goal is to win games 15-13 basically this year. Is to just try to hit your way out of it.
I mean, our bullpen can save us. That's it. They can last 162 games.
So outside of that, are there any other teams outside of the Padres that you like keep a close eye on, that you kind of follow, like outside of the division and that kind of thing? Or are there any other teams that you follow that you like, or other players that you I know you and I are both big Yu Darvish fans. I think did he retire finally? Is that
no,
he's
like on like a restricted list or reinstated or restricted list or something. Yeah, just now because
I was just reading that on. I was just seeing that on ESPN. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know if it's like a contract, like reconstructing it or something, but it helps us because it kind of frees up some money a little bit, I think. We do need starting pitching, so that helps. So he rules, great guy, obviously, to be able to do that. And he's done that before where he has been away from the team, but, or he'll take less money just to, extend Machado, whatever it was. Like he's great human.
Yes.
Always want the best for him, but I don't know what's going to happen to him. But he would be great as someone on the staff. Like I would love that if he chooses to retire.
Right. So are there any other teams that you follow closely?
I actually watch all the games because like when the season starts, I'm on MLB TV. I'm locked in.
You just putting everything on.
Yeah, it's gonna be background noise if it has to be, or just any game that's gonna be on. And I love absorbing knowledge, like when it comes to sports. So that's why I'm sure you guys just see me just tweet like random stuff, like or something, and it's like I'm watching a game.
Trang is chronically online while watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like live tweeting any game. And that's on.
I was reading, so I was trying to gain some knowledge earlier. So I went to like MLB.com, just looked up like a preview article, and they actually had all 3 of our teams kind of they kind of tiered out all the teams. So they had like the Dodgers in a tier way above, obviously. And then there's another tier, and then they had like our 3 teams with a couple others in like I'll just say the mid, like just kind of like like they'll be. They're gonna be all right.
They might make the playoffs. Basically, is the
yeah, and like for for the Astros, for me, the reason I kind of stopped following them is because we switched to YouTube TV and we don't have what is it, Space City Network, whatever the station is locally. Right. So I can't just watch them freely, and I'm not going to pay extra money to do it. So
well, if you and that's the thing is, if like where we are, if you try to get the MLB, if you try to get MLB TV, like the package, then like you're blacked out here anyway. So it's not like that's not going to help you at all. So that
right. So
so
I'll watch them. I'll watch them if they're on like ESPN or MLB. You know, if I'm allowed to. If I'm not blacked out, then I'll definitely watch them. But yeah, it's not like when my wife and I first started dating. She was a big Astros fan. Loved Jeff Bagwell. Loved Craig Biggio. She actually went to college with Hunter Pence.
Oh wow.
She was on. I don't know if I ever told you this, Brendan, but my wife out of high school had a track scholarship to UT Arlington. Mm-hmm. She was a discus and shot put thrower. And so she was there at the same time Hunter Pence was there as a baseball player. And they the teams used to work out, I guess, at the same time. So they weren't like close buddies or anything. But when she and I first started dating, Pence was just starting out with the Astros. I'm thinking of this because he's on the call tonight for Netflix. He's on he's one of the commentators. So so that's, and I didn't really have a team growing up. I just kind of liked a lot of different players. Like
Louisiana. Paul is from Louisiana, and they don't have a baseball team. So.
Yeah,
we had the Zephyrs. We had the New Orleans Zephyrs, which was the minor league team for a bunch of different MLB teams. But like, I watched the Braves because everybody had TBS, and the Braves were always on TBS.
Mm-hmm. The White Sox. If you had WGN, you had the White Sox.
We didn't have WGN, so we couldn't do that. And we had, I think it was called Fox Sports Southwest back then, so you could watch the Astros and the Rockets and all that stuff.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing too with like TV. When Fox Sports used to take like Fox Sports West, Fox Sports Southwest, I feel like everybody was able to have baseball or teams and ownership supposed to get that revenue from it. And now it's like for the Padres, they don't have an actual TV deal, so we have to buy a separate package, which I have to pay soon. It's like $100 for Padres TV. So it's an ad.
Yeah,
that's how the Rangers have started doing it too. Is you pay $100 and you can watch all the games through the year.
Yeah, so. But of course, like if it's on like ESPN or Fox, and that's a blacked out, obviously. Yeah. But
and I actually like the MLB's like their radio app, because then you can listen to any game you want, and it's only like. It actually went down. It used to be $20, and now it's like $15 for the whole season. You can just listen to any radio broadcast you want. So I do like that. So that's how I end up following, especially if I'm at work. Like a lot of the day games, I can just put it on in the background and listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've talked
real quick. I have a question though, Paul. If you're from New Orleans, are you an NBA fan? Are you
I'm not from.
Fan?
No, I'm not from
Louisiana,
New Orleans. So that's a great question. That's a great question, Trank. So growing up, the Pelicans did not exist. The Jazz had already moved to Utah because Jazz is real big in Utah. And so I had to pick a team, so I picked the Mavericks. So I've been a Mavericks fan my whole. Yeah, I'm a Maverick. Now I will root for the Pelicans if they're not playing the Mavericks, and if they're. Like there was one year when Chris Paul was with the Pelicans or the Hornets. They were still the Hornets back then.
Yeah.
Where they played the Mavericks in the like Western Conference semifinals or quarterfinals.
Right.
So that was rough. That was tough. But outside of that, I'll root for. I want the Pelicans to be good.
That
had happened recently.
Been a pretty rough.
Been rough
for you on that one.
I feel like they need to just. Free Trey Murphy for me, because I feel like that it hurts me to watch Trey Murphy there and not succeeding.
Yeah. Like the Zion thing's been an ongoing like.
I
don't. Yeah, it's just like it's like.
Well, I remember the night of that lottery, because everyone was excited because like the Pelicans were going to get Zion, and then the Grizzlies were going to get Ja Morant, and those have not.
Yeah,
not gone very well for either.
No,
I mean, I feel like the best content for Zion has been like the Charles Barkley commenting on him. On like inside the NBA. I remember there was one where like there was this when he went he like went to Portland to train or something like during the season. And Barkley said they acted like they ain't got food in Portland or something like that. and Shaq was losing it on the set. Like he was just like, so, I was, I've always been a Mavericks fan, Trang. So which is weird because my colleague, who is a Cowboys fan, is not a Mavericks fan. He's a Grizzlies fan. So
I'm like you.
That's
I'll still
true.
cheer for the Mavs when they're not playing the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Because, but
Brandon and I both have weird allegiances, I would say.
Yeah, most of mine are directly from Dallas, but that's the one random.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, it's like I'm Padres, Clippers, Seahawks. So
oh yeah, that's true.
That's true. I'm everywhere too.
Yeah.
Well,
San Diego sports
stayed on the West Coast at least.
Yeah, San Diego sports really doesn't exist. So.
So we should talk about that one of those other teams that you mentioned because you are coming back to us after you got the Bless Them Boys opposite of curse.
Yes.
The Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl this year. How does it feel to win your second championship? What were you kind of walk us through? Like, where did you watch the game? Who were you watching it with, and how that went down?
Oh, I was actually watching it at work. And that was it.
Boo.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It's more like I just always want to jump on the table. You know, there's a lot of obviously like Rams fans around here and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's nice for me. Come on, like I'd like to talk my shit. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse in here, but
somebody warned Andy.
Yeah.
Right. Andy, cover the kids' ears. Just cover the kids' ears for a little bit.
Oh yeah, I should have said something. You guys should beat me out every time.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, I think I said this when I hopped on here with you guys that it's just an unexpected year. So for it to play out the way it did, it was just like I feel like I'm still speechless. Like it still hasn't hit me that they won the Super Bowl until like I see things. It's because like the first one, it was like okay, we've seen it coming, but this I don't know. Like I still can't. Even when somebody asks me, I don't know how I feel really because it's just. How did this even happen? It looks like it's just like a refresh year kind of thing where they're still building and it's just like, it just happened. So I have no words still. Like we won the Super Bowl.
Well, big part of that win was MVP Kenneth Walker. Obviously he's now a Kansas City Chief.
Yeah.
How we feeling about the running back situation going into the next season with him gone? Charbonnet is going to be coming off a ACL, right?
I believe. Yep, that sounds right.
Yeah. So how we feeling? I don't know if you guys signed anybody in the running back room this offseason. Maybe you did, and I just forget.
Yeah,
I was actually looking it up.
Yeah, we signed some it sounds like minor league guys, I guess. So it's like Charbonnet or George Holani, right? And we're big on George Holani. So.
Are y'all going to be the team? Are y'all going to be the team that trades up for Jeremiah Love? Is that what's going to happen?
I don't know. I don't see that happening, but I do see us draft. Yeah, but I see us. I mean, listen, like I don't know if we really need a top name because I just feel like before all the drafts happen, I feel like John Schneider has been so good. It could be the 4th round guy, the 5th round guy that you
can get a back anywhere. Basically.
Yeah, I mean it's worked. It's worked so many times. Look at all our secondary and stuff. Like we never needed that, I guess, 1st round guy.
I did want to ask you about. Can you tell me anything about Darian Kendrick by any chance?
No.
Is he okay? He sounds like a back of the roster guy because the Cowboys just signed him, and his picture is him in a Seahawks jersey. Or Seahawks uniform, so I assume I'd never heard of him either. So
yeah, so I mean that's what I'm saying. Like these guys, I don't know where they're coming from.
So the guy I was thinking of that you signed was Emmanuel Wilson, who's a running back from Green Bay, was a Packers running back. So not a high flight name. I did see that you guys obviously gave the big contract to JSN.
Yeah.
But you also brought back Shaheed, which I was happy to see Shaheed get paid. I was always been a big fan of Shaheed. kind of hoping he'd come back to New Orleans, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just glad he got paid, got his ring. Talk to us about JSN, man, about him getting this monster
It's a lot
deal.
of money.
It's a lot of money.
It is, right? I do. It's deserving, right? And I just feel like because the thing I like about that Elsa is because they're able to see his talent and take him out of the slot, and now he's like also an outside guy. I feel like that enhances his career so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that itself is deserving money that he's getting. But I'm also glad that this deal is before anything Puka got, because or any of the next 5 guys that probably would get this next extension.
You're talking to 2 guys who have receivers that are about to get paid. Chris Olave for the Saints and George Pickens for the Cowboys. I kind of wish Olave's deal had gotten done before JSN's. Just selfishly. I'm not saying Olave deserves anywhere near JSN money, but the price yesterday is not the price today, so to speak. So.
Puka's going to take a big old bite of that market too.
Oh, good one. Great one.
Wow.
Puka's gonna. He better watch himself. He's gonna be.
He's a little bit of trouble.
Every time I log into Twitter, I'm like, Puka did something again. Yeah. Like what?
It's never anything good either. It's
right.
One thing. Yeah.
Right.
So I that's why I kind of wonder, because of that, how the Rams are going to see that. But I don't know if that affects them financially with them, or I don't know. Like maybe a release is probably not going to happen, right?
He may get suspended a couple of games. They'll probably cut they'll probably knock a couple million off the annual value for him. But
if I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, he was sued, right, by this woman.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah.
So I believe the NFL now, you know how the NFL is. I believe the policy is they wait until the adjudication process has completed until they hand down sentencing. Now, this is obviously a civil matter. It's not I guess it could be a criminal matter. Yeah, I guess it could be, but I mean, she's suing him, so that's different than him being brought
with
up
charges being pressed.
Right. Speaking as a fan of a team who this has happened in the past. I don't know. It'll be something to keep an eye on. I did want to ask you, Trang, so the news dropped today. So your Seahawks, as Super Bowl champs, get the opportunity to open the NFL season. However, this year it's on Wednesday, I believe, due to some scheduling conflicts with the Mariners. I think we talked about this on the show. Brandon, you and I talked about it.
Yeah, we did.
There was these scheduling conflicts, but then also the additional wrinkle, if you will, of your division rivals, the Rams and the 49ers, getting to play in Australia on Thursday here, but Friday in Australia.
Yeah.
So how does that make you feel? You get the first game, which is cool, but it's on a Wednesday night, not a Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, as a football fan, I would love football every day, right? Ever since they brought the Thursday game, I feel like it makes the week go by faster to get to Sunday. But Wednesday, come on. And I don't know if it's really like a conflict scheduling type of situation, because they, was it last week that they said they wanted to do a Wednesday or Thanksgiving Eve game?
Yeah.
They wanted to start that, which is also Wednesday. So it's like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Wednesday's
just
a weird day of the week to have anything outside of baseball and basketball. That's I don't think I need that in my life.
No.
I remember when the COVID season in 2020, because they were having to reschedule games so many times, you'd end up with a game on Tuesday or Wednesday, and it never felt right.
No.
It's not natural.
God
did not intend for this.
Yeah, even when they do the quote unquote Black Friday games, I think that's weird to me still.
Yes, I agree.
Think that's even. So.
Yeah. So, Trang, let me ask you this. So, with that opening night game, here are your potential opponents. So, obviously, Rams and 49ers are out because they're going to be in Australia.
Why can't we go to Australia? But I'm just kidding.
Well, I thought that too. I told Brandon, I'm like, wouldn't it just make sense to just send them? But that would be, you want to have the home game for the defending Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you've got the Cardinals. Probably won't be the Cardinals. You have Brandon's Dallas Cowboys as a potential for matchup there. The new look New York Giants with Coach John Harbaugh. You also have the Chiefs. Obviously, we know what that entails. You have the Chargers. You have the Chargers. You have Andy's Bears, and finally, you have a Super Bowl rematch with the Patriots. Any preference there of like which team you'd like to see in Seattle on opening night?
I do want to see like a Kenneth Walker Seattle situation.
I think that's a good storyline. You get that storyline.
Yeah.
And then
I didn't think about that. Well, it's twofold. You got the Kenneth Walker thing, and if Mahomes is healthy, I have a feeling the NFL is going to want the Chiefs.
That's the question, because otherwise, do we really want to watch Justin Fields?
Justin Fields?
That's the thing. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Because
be respectful of Justin Fields. Yeah,
I feel like we've been respectful of Justin Fields for so long already.
We've had enough.
Yeah.
I think Brandon, you and I have talked about that. We talked about this before the Super Bowl. I think the ideal matchup, honestly, is probably the Bears, just because of where the Bears ended up last season. They're going to have a lot of momentum coming into this season, probably. We would think. And then, obviously Ben Johnson in year 2 with Caleb. They've got a lot of that going, and they were a Caleb Williams, DJ Moore miscommunication interception away from possibly playing the Seahawks in the NFC Championship game last year. So, I think that would be good. Obviously, your Cowboys, Brandon. Well, they're always top of mind when it comes to these kind of things. So,
I'd prefer to avoid the Thursday night or the Wednesday night opening. Although I do like that you get like a little bit of extra time to prepare for week 2 with that sort of like the mini bye.
Well, now you get an additional day this time because with the Wednesday game.
Exactly.
I wonder if the NFL will do something shady, like have whoever plays the Seahawks on Wednesday play the Thursday, like the following week 2, open week 2, or have Seattle open week 2. Maybe I don't know. That would be so NFL. That would be such an NFL thing to do. And then obviously the Patriots. We talked about this. They usually try not to do the Super Bowl rematch week 1 out of the gate. They kind of leave that for down the road.
Did it feel a little extra special getting revenge on the Patriots for that?
That's true.
That Super
Malcolm
Bowl.
Butler.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Revenge is always sweet, guys. Getting that revenge is always sweet.
It's not bad. It's not.
Did you enjoy the Bad Bunny halftime show?
Yeah. I don't know what he was saying, but I loved it.
Well, I heard most of the Spanish speakers in the audience also didn't know what he was saying.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I loved it. He's great. Like the performance was like I think it was just beautiful. I feel like it just brought everyone together. Yeah.
There was something else. So let's. I want to ask you a non-Seahawks NFL question, if I may, Trang. What were your thoughts on the whole Max Crosby fiasco with the getting traded to Baltimore? Oops. The Raiders forgot to call no backsies, and now the Ravens, send him back. So, what were your thoughts on that whole brouhaha?
My first thought was like, someone's a fraud. Who's lying? Like, what's going on?
Ravens.
Yeah, right. Like, there was shady stuff going on already. Like, there's no way. It obviously sounds like they already had this done. Like I don't know, just very, very shady. But yeah, that's my first thought. Like, there's just no way.
Yeah, and Brandon, I know you and I were talking about it because the day it happened, we recorded like an hour after the news broke, and we were like in the middle of the show, like trying to figure out, like, wait a minute, now they're saying this and they're doing that, and then apparently the Cowboys doctor was involved because he was consulted at one point with all this. My first thought on the trade was, first of all, obviously, when the trade is made, Team A has to tell Team B, they have to disclose injuries, right? Like, you have to say, like, hey, and Crosby's was pretty public. Like, it wasn't like the Raiders were hiding anything.
It was known that he was
Right.
he had something going on there.
But that was like, but the thing is, whatever had gone on with him was week 2 already. So we didn't know about his injury until like week 10, right? Or how bad, how severe it was, right? Because they said he was, So the severity of his injury was really bad until we didn't know that until like week 10.
Yeah, and then apparently, obviously, he gets to Baltimore. They do the physical. They take these X-rays. They consult with different doctors, including the Cowboys doctor, apparently. And then while he's in the building, they are talking to Trey Hendrickson in the building. Like they are like, to your point, Trang, about the shady dealings here. Mm-hmm. This was not this. And then they tried to. My favorite part was after they're like, "Oh no, we were going to sign both of them." It's like, no, you weren't. There's no way.
There's no way at all.
My and then we talked about this on the show, Brandon, when the news broke. We were like, so what does this mean for the Raiders? Because the Raiders had signed all these players,
like 50 players,
to like pretty good deal, including the Ravens' former center, Tyler Linderbaum. So now we were like, well, does this mean that they got to like go back on some of these deals? Like, how does this work? Turns out they don't. They apparently they had enough cap space to cover
Put everybody in there,
to get everybody in there. But man, that is, I mean, I told Brandon, I'm rooting for the Raiders this year. I really wish the Raiders and the Ravens played each other this year, but that doesn't, that's not happening.
Unless they make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Unless they make the playoffs. Now, I did tell Brandon. There you go. Mm-hmm. I did tell Brandon, if Crosby does get traded to the Cowboys by some chance, the Cowboys do play the Ravens this year.
And he'll have 10 sacks. He would have 10 sacks in that game. You know he would.
I mean, I would think. I mean, like, and if you're the Raiders, you kind of get the best of both worlds in this scenario, because now you've signed all these players. Mm-hmm. You got Crosby back, because it wasn't like you wanted to trade Crosby. This was more on Crosby. It sounded like Crosby was kind of wanted to move. So now you get Crosby back, and he's pissed off, and now you also have Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker behind him.
You also don't have those extra 2 first-round picks, though.
That's what hurts. To me, if I was the Raiders, that would be the biggest things. Now, I was going to have the 14th pick in the draft and potentially could draft, maybe another receiver, maybe if one of the
capitalize that.
Yeah, and you can't do that now. So I don't know. I still wouldn't be shocked if he gets traded. Maybe not the Cowboys, but I feel like somebody. I'm just telling. Look, as long as it's not the Eagles, right?
Right.
Like, as long as
well, speaking. Wait,
go ahead.
I got you. Speaking of the Raiders, how do we feel about?
Okay.
How do we feel about Fernando Mendoza? Couldn't get his first. Fernando Mendoza's shooting his shot with Alyssa Liu, gold medalist.
I know. I was like,
I didn't see this. What happened? I missed this. I've been out of the loop. What's going on?
So he had his he had something like, and he was biting it like she did the like Olympic medal, and he like tagged her and was like, "Am I doing this correct? Am I doing this right, Alyssa Liu?" And so I saw something where they were FaceTiming each other on the.
Well,
I'm like, all that God talk after the games. I don't think he's very. He's shooting his shot and stuff. I don't think he's all that.
So was it before or after this that Dan Orlovsky declared Ty Simpson the best quarterback in the draft?
It was after, but also Dan Orlovsky and Ty Simpson also have the same agent.
Oh, real? Oh,
yeah. There you go. So if you
wait a minute. Hold on, time out. You're telling me, Brandon, that Dan Orlovsky made a claim that might be unsubstantiated? Is that what you're telling me?
He's such a man of such integrity.
Talk about shady stuff happening.
Yeah. I mean, that's ESPN. Like, look, man, we've got 3 weeks before this damn draft. Like, we got to talk about something.
Can you throw a bone to our dude?
Yeah. Hey, exactly. Aaron Rodgers, can you not go back to Pittsburgh right now? Like, we need to like get a quarterback.
To talk about.
We need that. Yeah. Tell McAfee to tell Rodgers to like do all this. Well, there was something else I wanted to ask Trey. So Trang, in the draft now, the Seahawks obviously will have the last pick of the first round because they're Super Bowl champs. Not a lot of draft picks though, as I recall, for the Seahawks this year, right? There's only a handful.
Yeah.
So in the draft, what are you kind of hoping that they accomplish, I guess, at this point?
I feel like there needs to be some cornerback depth, like a corner.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, obviously some form of decent
Running
enough.
back.
Yes, that's all I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, overall, I'm pretty fine with everything. I feel like for once the O line looks decent enough. But yeah, I do think a corner, a running back. That's what I'm thinking right now. But I mean, there could always be holes.
Would you be surprised if they maybe trade back? Like if a team, we just talked about Ty Simpson, like if he falls in the draft and there's a team in the early part of the second round, like a Cleveland or the Jets maybe, who want to come up so they can get him and get that fifth year, the traditional, get the fifth year, and then maybe supplement you guys with some draft picks for both this year and for next year. Did you see that as maybe a possibility?
Oh yeah, I feel like that's in the Seahawks book. That's in the John Schneider book for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Brandon, do you have anything else for Trang?
Well, one more question before we get you out of here.
Okay.
Basketball season is winding up. How do you feel about the Clippers' chances going into the? I know they got rid of small game James Harden, so that's I think that's a boost for your playoff odds. So how do you feel about their chances this year?
I mean, Darius Garland has been a great addition. I was worried about his toe. I think I was like pissed off. I was like, such a young guy with his broken toe. Like, what are we gonna do with him?
The coup d'etat.
Oh,
No.
that's a good one. Yeah,
that's a Seinfeld reference. That's a Seinfeld reference. It's
but I was like, that's a good one though. But yeah, they went from starting season 6-21, and now they've like flipped it, so they're a little above 500 now. So there's a possibility. The playoffs is looking like there's some light there. But yeah, some great addition. They have young guys like Kobe Sanders, Darius Garland. It's not like an AARP team anymore. Obviously, oldest is Kawhi now, so which is great. And Kawhi is actually doing very well for someone who has malfunctioning lower half of his body.
How's the tree planting going for Kawhi? Is he still?
I think he's in trouble. I think they're still investigating. But...
Pablo Torre is finding out. I can guarantee you.
Like, please just drop it already.
Come on.
It's either that or he's got to go after Belichick and his like 20-year-old girlfriend. Like
please,
it's one of the
do that.
It's one of the two.
Like we need a new topic already, please. Yeah.
Look over here.
I know, like
exactly. Yeah, look over here.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really like there's some positives to look for the Clippers right now. But hopefully with these last few games of the season, they can just keep winning and be a nice play-in turning situation happen for them.
Get out at the right time and make a run.
Yeah.
Looking at the standings right now, they are currently in 8th. They are 36 and 36, right in front of the Trailblazers and the Warriors. My Mavericks are already eliminated. Brandon, it looks like your Grizzlies are not officially eliminated, but
not officially.
But yeah, it's getting late early, as someone once said. So if I remember correctly, because I always mess this up when I talk about the NBA. So if the Clippers finish 8th, they would play the Trailblazers first, and then if they win that, or no, is it?
The 7-8 play each other, and the winner of that is in, and then the loser has to the winner of the 9-10 game.
So right now, Clippers would play the Suns. Winner is the 7th seed. The loser plays the winner of Blazers and Warriors at this right now.
Yeah.
If everything holds pat.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if y'all saw this, but there's a Netflix documentary coming out called Jailblazers.
Yes, I did see that.
About the Trailblazers, the early 2000 Trailblazers. Might have to check that out. So Trang, real quick before we cut you loose here. We mentioned Seinfeld a minute ago. I know last time we were on, we asked you about it. You said it wasn't kind of your with in the spirit of baseball, Brandon. I thought I would recommend a couple episodes to Trang of Seinfeld that are baseball adjacent. That maybe she can watch.
I know what one of them is going to be.
You know what? Well, okay, so one of them I actually tweeted out a GIF of with our show announcement tonight. But so Trang, there's an episode called The Letter, in which it's season 3. I forget what number, but it's season 3. It is there's part of the episode is they go to a Yankees game because obviously the show's in New York, but Elaine, the female lead, wears a Baltimore Orioles cap because she's from Baltimore in the owner's box, and or not. It's like in the owner's seats, like they're on the first base side. So there's that one. Also, season 3 episode is called The Boyfriend, and it features New York Met legend Keith Hernandez.
Oh, okay.
So there's that. There's one in season 6 called The Pledge Drive that features former New York Yankee great Danny Tartabull. I don't know if you remember Danny Tartabull from back in the day, but he's there. And then
deep cut.
Yeah.
It's okay. And then I'll just mention that starting in season 6, George Costanza, Jason Alexander's character, works for the Yankees. Like he spends. That's part of the show is he actually works for the Yankees, and they actually have a George Steinbrenner. Like they have someone actually playing George Steinbrenner. It's actually Larry David, who's one of the creators of the show.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Voices George Steinbrenner.
It's not the real. They did film a scene with the real Steinbrenner.
They filmed one with the real Steinbrenner, and he was so bad they had to cut it.
They had to cut it.
No way.
Larry, There's a great clip of Larry David talking about he had to call him, and he was so nervous calling him to tell him, and you know, and he had to tell him. He told him, and everything was fine. But yeah, Larry David, because and the funny part about him being the voice of Steinbrenner is he and Jerry Seinfeld were talking about they auditioned a couple people, and Jerry's like, and Larry's like, yeah, nobody's got the voice right, and Jerry's like, well, what does it sound like to you? And Larry starts doing it. And Jerry's like, well, why don't you just do it? Like if that's what like, so that's how they ended up. But they shoot him from behind, so you never see his face.
Oh,
you only see the back. So it's a different body. It's not Larry David's body. It's a different guy.
The voice.
Yeah.
But you just hear his voice, and so it's.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah.
So if you're on Netflix and you're watching baseball, and Seinfeld's there, it's right there.
Okay, I'll definitely try to check out season 3. There's 2 episodes. We'll start there.
Season 3, 2. We can send you. We'll send you the.
We'll send you the
titles.
list.
Yeah.
So we'll save you some time.
Okay.
We'll save you some time. Because we don't. Yeah, I don't think you need to watch all 180 episodes to get an appreciation.
No, that's perfect. Yeah, just give me the sports stuff.
Right.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. Well, Trang, thank you again. We appreciate you coming on. Maybe we can have you on again before the NFL season.
Yeah, I'll be down.
Kind of see how you're feeling
part
about
of our NFC West preview.
Yeah,
there we
that's
go.
fine.
I'll
be whatever you guys need me.
And best of luck to you with your podcast, and everybody go check.
And go
check
Padres.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yep.
Go your baseball teams too, if you guys are still locked in. Oh, there you
Former
go.
champions.
Okay. I don't know how that feels yet, so
we'll see.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me on again.
Thanks, Trang.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So thanks again to Trang for hopping on and educating us a little bit on the baseball season. I did reach out. Andy reached out after we had talked about having Trang on the show, and Andy was like, he's like, you don't want me to be your baseball correspondent? I said, Andy, we'd
love to be.
Welcome Andy. I mean, we'll welcome.
Send him the invite.
We welcome any and all correspondence, baseball related. I did send a message to Donnie asking for any Rockies thoughts. He's probably he probably lost my number. But
good old Rocky's thoughts.
Right. I didn't want to mention anything while Trang was on, but currently it is bottom of the third. Yankees 5, Giants nothing. Yankees had a big inning here, I think, in the top of the third. So, so we'll try to keep you up to date on that. Well, now that we've kind of got into the show a little bit, Brandon, do you want to? But we don't have a Patriot Saint Cowboy again because wanted to interview Trang. We'll give
right. We're not going to make her sit around for us to read an AI summarization of a Wikipedia article.
that may or may not be true.
We never fact check those things.
You know, it'd be great is like if people started making Wikipedia articles that were AI, and I'm sure they do this already.
Oh, yeah.
And then we use AI to summarize, and AI, it's like, what are we doing here? What
I need to go back. Do you remember that one? There was one page where I like.
Oh, it was Capone. Was it a Capone? Warren Capone?
Yeah, and he was he led them. Nobody knows what he led them, and he just led them. Need to go back and find that article and see if my edit is still there at some point.
Well, I'm looking it up right now. While I do that, we here at Bless Them Boys do pride ourselves on being able to discuss other things.
But enough about fish. I can discuss other things,
All right, Brandon. Maybe it wasn't Warren Capone. Maybe it was somebody else. I'm not seeing anything. We'll figure it out. What'd you get up to this week, buddy?
Oh, wait, I did find it. It is Warren Capone.
Oh, it is?
College career. Capone accepted a football scholarship from Louisiana State University, where he became a 3-year starter and led the Tigers in his last Tiger season. No one is sure what he led them in. He simply led them.
It's still there. I love it when a plan comes together. All right.
Shout out Wikipedia. Shout out to the editors of Wikipedia.
I'll do respect to Mr. Capone and his family. We didn't do it, Warren. We just
corrected it.
We were trying to help, if anything, but I don't know if we did. Brandon, so you went to Sin City last week.
I did. It was great. I never. My favorite part of this was I never had to leave the hotel. I just went downstairs and there was the sports book. It was wonderful.
So I went to a work conference in San Francisco a couple of years ago, and this conference the year before or a couple of years before I went, it was in Vegas, and my boss who went when it was in Vegas basically said the same thing. Like everything was in the hotel. You don't have to because in San Francisco we had to walk like three blocks to get to the convention center. I do all that, and my boss was like, "Nope." In Vegas, everything was like right there. Like you just had to basically go to your room
walk down, get some coffee, walk past the casino, and the smell of cigarettes early in the morning.
There you go.
People. Buddy, let me tell you, slot machines are depressing.
I just picture the old ladies with their coins just.
Oh yeah, and they're well now it's all digital, and so they're just sitting there and like pressing the button and smoking a big old cigarette or cigar or whatever.
Shout out to those ladies.
Yeah,
shout out to them.
So I had a really good Thursday, and then Friday. So I ended up breaking even because Thursday was really good and Friday was really bad. The most frustrating, and I had a lot of so I had Santa Clara plus 3, Santa Clara up 3.
Yeah.
Kentucky hits the 3 at the buzzer to tie it, and then goes into overtime and then just blows them out. That was frustrating. Yeah. The other most frustrating one was the UCLA game, which I had UCLA minus 5.5, and they had that they were up 14. Like in multiple points in the second half, and then the refs were a nightmare. From that point, like a guy from UCLA got elbowed in the face and lost half his tooth. No foul call.
It's like was this like 80s? It's like the 80s NBA, man. Like
Yeah, so
bad boy Pistons out there.
I tweeted at that point. I said the refs in the UCLA game. I don't remember who they were playing at this point, but the refs in this UCLA game are point shaving and then tagged at FBI. And one guy who I like, who like follows me and who's like on like very deep into gambling Twitter, he was like, buddy, it's been rough. Like everybody was like, this is bad officiating and it is costing the cover. And so there was that one. There were a couple of more that were like that, where like I think I was on it was McNeese and Texas Tech. So I bet it Wednesday night when I got there, and I got McNeese +8. So I felt pretty good.
No, McNeese is playing Vanderbilt.
No, okay. Who's Texas Tech playing?
Texas Tech was playing Akron because I had Akron.
Okay, Akron. So I had Akron I had Akron +8 Wednesday night. I get up on Friday morning and I'm checking the lines to look at it, and it is now down to Akron +7. So I'm like, okay. So this is getting bet down pretty easily. Well, Texas Tech finally is just like, they just hit they shot like 70% in the second half, and I was like, you can't like, you're not going to win bets when like the other team's shooting 70% from the floor in a half. So like that was frustrating. That's just like, you get on the wrong end of a shooting variance night. The funny one was, who was it that was it South Florida was +4.5 in their game on Thursday. And so I had them +4.5. Well, the kid behind me, it's like him, his dad, and his, I guess, grandfather. I assume it's a family.
Okay.
I think they're actually like they ended up being from Pearland. Hilarious.
Oh, right. Yeah. You texted me about this. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I hear, because South Florida cannot put the ball in the ocean. Like they cannot hit anything. Whoever they're playing.
And they're right there in Tampa. I mean, the Gulf is right there.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Let me see. South Florida men's basketball.
So while you're looking that up real quick, so on Thursday you mentioned the Santa Clara result, because that was one of my upset picks. I had Santa Clara beating Kentucky, and when you texted me WTR, OMG or WTF, and I texted you back Kentucky ? All I saw initially was just that Kentucky had hit the buzzer beater. I thought it was a buzzer beater to win. I didn't realize it was a buzzer beater to tie.
I would have preferred it was a buzzer beater to win.
And I also didn't realize that Santa Clara had just hit a 3-pointer, 2 seconds before that to take the lead. And then, so I didn't realize the full context. So then once I realized, because I think I had gone for a walk or something and come back, because my other upset that day was High Point. And
I had High Point. I had the
High Point. Yeah, that one had already come in, so I was feeling pretty good. And then Santa Clara was like right at the same time or pretty close. And so right as I come back from my walk, I get in the house and I see Kentucky's celebrating, and I'm thinking, oh crap, they won. Because I had Santa Clara going. I think I had them going to the Sweet 16. I think I had them beating. Who did Kentucky? I don't remember who Kentucky played in the second round, but
I don't.
Yeah, so that was bad. Now Friday was worse because the two teams. I had Akron and I
Friday
had
was all
Hawaii.
Friday was all favorites, like all favorites. Just okay, so South Florida was playing Louisville, and so like Louisville is making shots, and South Florida can't hit anything, and so like. Me and the guys I'm sitting with are all on South Florida +4.5, and we're like, okay, this is dead. Well, the guy behind me is like telling his like grandson or whatever. He's like, did you bet South Florida, and did you bet Louisville? And he's like, yeah. He's like, go bet him again. Go bet him on the live line. And I'm like, this is a bad idea because Louisville is hitting everything and South Florida is not. So you're gonna get the line's gonna be huge,
right?
Like and once out, there should be some it's highly likely that there's some regression at some point.
Right. If anything, if you can get South Florida plus points, you would at that point, depending on how many points you can get. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. And so I didn't say anything, but I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, this is some bad advice right here. And so So South Florida gets on a run. Me and the guys sitting beside me are just like going wild because South Florida is like getting hot, and then they like hit that shot to get it to 4, win by the hook. And the kid behind me is like pissed.
He's like tearing tickets, like
exactly. So
he's like Kramer. He's like Kramer at the racetrack.
Oh yeah, there was that horse bet I put on, and I think the.
Oh right, yeah, you did. Yeah,
I was like, I'm gonna go bet on one horse race, and I go bet on this, and like I was like, I think the horse that I bet on just got run into the glue factory after this.
When you sent me that, it reminded me. Do you remember in the strike episode, the Festivus episode, when Elaine gives her fake number as the betting track, and then
she has to
those
go.
And then those two guys show up at Frank's because Kramer ran into him, and the guy sitting next to her at the table, and she had placed that bet, and she goes, "So how'd my horse do?" And the guy, without missing a beat, just goes, "He had to be shot." That's what I thought of.
That's pretty much exactly what it was. So that was fun, and then so when I got back. I had the house to myself, so I did watch. There was a TV show I watched in college that used to be on Netflix. Now it's on Amazon Prime. It wasn't available anywhere for a while, but I found it on Amazon Prime streaming for free. It's called 18 to Life.
Okay.
So it is a Canadian show. It is based on the this couple that's like just out of high school. They end up getting engaged and married on a dare. They like
okay,
so that's the premise of the show, and so they have to they're neighbors, they've known each other for forever, and they so that's basically what happens. Well, the dad, there's a Seinfeld connection.
I'm seeing the synopsis here. Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm. So
what's the Seinfeld connection?
So the father, so the girl, the daughter, the wife in this, her parents are like free spirits. Okay. And then the other parents are very like by the book, old school kind of.
Got it.
Well, the dad of the son is played by Peter Keleghan or Peter Keleghan, who you might recognize. He was in one episode of Seinfeld.
Hold on, I'm oh, he's the original Lloyd Braun.
He's the original Lloyd Braun. That's right. So I was sitting there watching. I was watching the show, and I'm like looking at this guy, and I'm like, this guy looks so familiar.
It's funny because a couple weeks ago when I watched Hand That Rocked the Cradle, and I mentioned the second Lloyd Braun, right? He's in that movie. But I think our friends over at this podcast is making me thirsty. They recognize Peter Keleghan as like that's their Lloyd. They're like, this is our Lloyd Braun. Like it's not
that second guy,
not the other guy. Yeah, I could be wrong on that. So apologies if they're.
Well, I think there was a couple of characters on there that had like work visa issues because they were Canadian.
Okay.
And I don't know if he's one of them.
I think that's what, because I remember when I used to listen to Signcast, which I think you and I both listened to back in the day. Mm-hmm. I remember them talking about when they got to that episode, when they got to what episode is it he first showed? Is that the non-fat yogurt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I just referenced that on Twitter the other day because there is a protein bar that apparently has more fat in it than what's on the label.
I think I saw that.
And so the first thing,
the verdict is in. The verdict is in. Fat. I also love in that episode because Kramer keeps calling Jerry various forms of fat, like listen tubs. They're like, you know. And then obviously Newman.
These protein bars are so good.
Yeah, then there's that, and then Newman. Hey, another round of strawberry for me and my friends. Like it's and what I love about that episode too, not to get on a Seinfeld tangent, but that episode they had to film two versions of that episode because that was around the mayoral election.
Yeah, they had to
in New York.
It was Dinkins.
It was Dinkins and Giuliani. And my favorite bit of trivia is
name tags.
Had Dinkins won, Dinkins had already told him he wasn't going to do the show. So what they had to do is they had to get an actor to play a representative of Dinkins' office to kind of like do what Giuliani does in the episode, which is to like go on there and say like, well, I've been working out. The only indulgence I have really is this non-fat yogurt or whatever. But the guy that they got to play the aide from Dinkins' office that they ended up not using because Giuliani won the election was Phil Morris, who went on to be Jackie Childs. So had Dinkins won that election, we may never have gotten Jackie, or we may have not have gotten Phil Morris as Jackie Childs. We may have gotten the character, but so that's always one of my favorite like sliding door things. Seinfeld is that
it's kind of funny that the actor who played the lawyer who was suing the cigarette companies was named Phil Morris.
Oh, and he yeah. In fact, that episode that's the abstinence. There's a DVD extra where Phil Morris talks about that because there's a line Jackie has and there's like the cigarette companies. I've been wanting to get a piece of them for years, and that's him. That's Phil Morris, like speaking to that basically. Or the tobacco companies, not the cigarette companies.
Right.
Tobacco companies. I've been wanting to get a piece of them for years. But so yeah, hey, you know what? I'm glad you found Peter Kelligan. I always kind of wondered like what else he had. Looks like he did an episode of Cheers too at one point.
See there you go. Found something he was in. It's not a bad show. I want to say to your point though about the visa thing. I want to say most of his work after Seinfeld was all in Canada. Because he couldn't. I also
come back to the States.
I did watch one movie. I watched Anyone But You.
Is this the Sydney Sweeney? What's his name?
I can't think of his name either, but I know who
the fella. Your guy from UT. Running Man. He was just in the Running Man. He was just what's
I never remember his name. No, I have to look it up. It is Sydney Sweeney. I know that much.
Glenn Powell. Jesus.
That's it.
But he's a UT guy, right? Isn't he? Or he's from Austin or something like that?
Sure.
I know he is a supporter. I'll put it like this. He's a supporter of UT. I don't know if he actually went to school.
University of Texas at Austin.
Yeah. Okay. I thought he was. I thought he was a Longhorn. But yeah, no. So Sydney Sweeney, Glenn Powell, in a romantic comedy, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was kind of your pretty much like standard rom-com fare based on, and the reason I watched it. Well, part of the reason I watched it.
Well, we all know one part of the reason.
Real reason,
it, Brandon.
But it was based on a Shakespeare play. Like it's loosely based on a Shakespeare play. Much Ado About Nothing.
Okay.
So his character name is Ben, and the character and her name is so short for Beatrice, which are the two characters in Much Ado About Nothing, Benedict and Beatrice. And they also like there's a lot of like they have a lot of banter between the characters, and then there's also the fact that like they try to set them up by like having these very like these staged conversations so that the other person hears them talking. And so like that's how they end up getting set up and stuff. And so I mean it was fine. Like it wasn't terrible. It was a romantic comedy. It's also like very clearly Much Ado About Nothing because like at one of the like end scenes in the credits, like they're doing the Natasha Bedingfield song, the Feel the Rain on Your Skin, Unwritten. And so they're doing that song, and they're at a baseball park, and the words Much Ado About Nothing are like on the scoreboard. And so like it's very
good. Very good. Yeah.
So
I remember hearing about this movie because this was kind of Sydney Sweeney's like first. This is one of her first big
movies, I think.
Yeah. obviously now I guess Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was kind of her breakout, but she was Under the Silver Lake. She just had the movie The Housemaid come out late last year, early this year.
I didn't realize that Glenn Powell was that traitor in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, he gets thrown around by Bane.
Yeah, it's a.
Yeah.
There's no money here. Why are you here?
That's pretty good. Yeah, no, that was his first big role and Glenn Powell actually has a relatively new movie out called How to Make a Killing.
I think I've seen commercials for that.
Yeah, it just came to VOD today, I think. It's been in theaters for the last couple of weeks, but anything else, buddy? Anything else you get into?
That was it. How about you?
Yeah.
Did you do anything for your birthday?
Yeah, nothing exciting. I mean, so when we met last week, my birthday had already passed. Yeah, nothing too big. I mean, I had the week off the week before, so we went. So the Sunday before my birthday, which was Selection Sunday, also and Oscar Sunday, we went to Port Arthur to meet my mom. So my mom drove from Louisiana. We drove from Houston, met halfway, and we had brunch, I guess, at Cracker Barrel, which is always a good time. So the kids got to see Nana, as they call her. So that was about it. We didn't really do much. I didn't really want to do a lot, but this past week my wife and I are caught up. We're ready. We are ready for the season finale of Paradise, which is coming up this week. So they had the penultimate episode this past week. It's good. They did announce that season 3 did get greenlit, but it also looks like season 3 is going to be the last season, which I kind of can see why, because it feels like they're running out of steam a little bit. It's not as like the episode for season 1 that was the penultimate episode was probably the best episode of the series. This one was a little more setting pieces and kind of setting the chessboard a little bit for the finale. So we'll see what happens in the finale coming up. But still, I really enjoy the way they use music in the show. They do a lot of covers, but they're like stripped down covers where it's just piano or just guitar. So I'm a big fan of that. I did watch a movie. We were talking about How to Make a Killing just came to VOD today. Another movie that came to VOD today was Send Help. This is a Sam Raimi movie starring Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. So Rachel McAdams. O'Brien.
I actually just watched that. I watched that. So I watched like a few episodes of Seinfeld on Sunday. Like I just had it on. And the boyfriend and the limo were both on the list.
Yeah, that's season 3. That's right in that middle, that sweet spot of season 3. Yeah, that's an underrated episode.
That's a great episode.
She's a Nazi, George.
Cute Nazi.
So in Send Help, Rachel McAdams plays this woman who is works in an office, very, very much a go-getter, but kind of socially awkward. Does her job to a very high level, and the CEO of this company has passed away, and he is now passing on the reins to his son, who's played by Dylan O'Brien. And Dylan O'Brien is just your stereotypical jackass boss, like treats Rachel McAdams like crap. Rachel McAdams had been promised a promotion prior to the former CEO's death. That doesn't happen. But he kind of throws her a bone. Is like, look, we're going on this trip to Thailand. Why don't you come along and prove to me that you kind of leading her along, basically.
Right.
And on the way on the trip to Thailand, plane crashes. They're the only two survivors.
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes like a castaway type deal. But I don't want to give too much of the movie away because it went places I was not expecting. Now it is a Sam Raimi movie, so there are jumps. There is one really good jump scare, and it is also pretty gory. But yeah. But what I will say is that I was pleasantly surprised. First of all, by like the first 10 minutes are pretty funny. Like there's a couple laugh out loud moments. And then, like I said, the where they went with the story, it wasn't, because I kind of felt like it was going to be your kind of like once they got stranded on the island, like it was going to be pretty stereotypical, like, oh, we got to, and it's not that. It kind of they take it in a very interesting direction. There's also I guess a cameo or brief appearance, I should say, from Dennis Haysbert, who was people might remember him as the president from 24. He also was in Major League. He was Serrano in the Major League movies back in the day. He's also the Allstate guy. That's probably how most people remember him now. But yeah, no, I would highly recommend if you haven't checked out Send Help. It came out in January in theaters. It was one of the first, or maybe I think it was because 28 years later came out in January. I think Send Help was the following week. But yeah, gotcha. I would definitely recommend it. I do have a Seinfeld connection. I watched The Godfather just because sometimes you just gotta watch The Godfather. Like, obviously the connection there is the Briss episode with Jerry being the Godfather.
Not one of my favorite episodes.
No. It wasn't one of Jason Alexander's favorites either. He was not. He did not appreciate the characterization of a Moyle in that episode.
Well, he was a bad Moyle. I mean,
fair enough. But Jason Alexander, a proud Jewish fellow, was not happy about that. But yeah, The Godfather. I mean, if you haven't watched it in a while, it's 2 hours and 55 minutes, and it goes by like as fast as any 2 hour, 55-minute movie I've ever seen. I mean, it's really good. For the longest time, I've always thought part 2 is better. Now, I haven't watched part 2 in a while, and this might be recency bias because I just watched part 1. But man, Godfather it's damn near perfect movie.
Good movie.
So
great movie.
Damn near perfect. And there's other Godfather references in Seinfeld. There's a reference at one point. George does every time that I think I'm out, they pull me back in. That's from Godfather 3, obviously. There's also at the end of the Briss episode, when Kramer is asked to be Godfather because Jerry's made a mess of the whole thing. When they close the door, they're in Kramer's apartment, and they close the door on Jerry and Elaine. That is a overt reference to the ending of Godfather 1.
Right.
So yeah, would highly recommend it. And then my Denzel challenge here, my Cinechums challenge, Denzel edition. The title this week of the prompt, week 13, I got it right this week. We are on week 13. The title is Same, but Different. So basically the idea here is any kind of readaptation, any kind of remake, or the original movie that was later remade. So Denzel's got a couple of these. So I'll just go through a couple. So I don't know so you mentioned Much Ado About Nothing a minute ago. Denzel is in a movie adaptation of Much Ado About Nothing in 1993. They also, obviously, we've talked about Tragedy of Macbeth, which I don't know. I guess you would call that an adaptation. I mean, that's
yeah, absolutely.
A reimagining. Yeah. And then you have The Magnificent Seven that he was in, directed by Antoine Fuqua with Ethan Hawke and a couple other fellows. He also was in a remake of The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, which I've talked about in the show before because our beloved Jerry Stiller was in the original back in the 70s. But the movie I ended up choosing to watch for this challenge, and this actually has a Seinfeld connection also, I'll get to it in a second, was the Manchurian Candidate, because I watched the original Manchurian Candidate recently. So the original stars Frank Sinatra as a POW whose battalion or whose our troop is captured in Korea, I believe, and basically the entire troop is brainwashed, including one of his fellow buddies who. So in the original, his father is running for vice president, and basically he's been brainwashed. Well, Frank Sinatra has, but his buddy's also been brainwashed to act as kind of a sleeper agent. For this group of communists, basically who want to cause chaos. So in the Denzel version, the one that came out in, I believe it was 2004, it was directed by Jonathan Demme, who is the same guy who directed Stop Making Sense, Silence of the Lambs, Philadelphia. So, really good director. In this version, Denzel plays the role that Sinatra played in the original, and then Liev Schreiber is the son of a former senator who has passed on. So in the updated version, the son, Liev Schreiber, is the one running for vice president as opposed to his dad in the original. So, and the mom, and Liev Schreiber's mother, is played by Meryl Streep. And so, and it's very good. I preferred the original, but there's some really good stuff in this remake. There's a very young Anthony Mackie in this movie. Jeffrey Wright is in this movie. The guy who plays the guy on Orange is the New Black, who's the guard that has the porn stash, and I can't remember his name. I think they even call him Porn Stash on the show.
I think I saw like half a season of that show.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but well, there's Liev Schreiber, Pablo. I don't know, not Pablo Torre. I know that. We already talked about him, but here's a Seinfeld connection. One of the senators who suspect. So basically, Denzel is trying to get people to believe him that he was brainwashed, and one of the senators that he finally can go to and actually kind of believes him and is trying to help him is played by none other than Jon Voight, who obviously is
a periodontist.
No. The act Jon Voight. So yeah, so that this is kind of a twofer on this one. But yeah, this is really good. It's one of those where when I first stopped, right after I watched it, I thought, yeah, it wasn't as good as the original, but then the more I think about it, I'm like, it's actually not that bad. It's pretty good for an early 2000s conspiracy thriller, political thriller type movie. It's pretty good. And Meryl Streep, Meryl Streep's always up to task.
Oh yeah, I think because we talked about it recently. I told you we watched the Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah,
recently. I will say, and I
forgot to mention. So this movie, actually, I think this is the movie she made right before The Devil Wears Prada. Like I think it was this one, and then or right around the same time. But yeah, so that was that's the Denzel challenge for this week. So I am now a quarter of a way through the year, right? 13 weeks out of 52. So and so far so good.
I forgot to mention, I was glad that my trip took place, that I left last Wednesday as opposed to any day after that, because if you've seen airports recently,
it's been tough. Been tough. Yeah, I don't fly often, and but yeah, seeing some of the images out of Bush Intercontinental, which is where did you fly out of Bush or you flew out of Hobby?
I flew out of Bush, and so I got there like 3 hours before my flight because I knew it was, and so like I got there, I got done with security, 45 minutes before the flight. So I had time to grab something to eat and then I was like on the plane immediately. So barely had time.
I did see a tweet. Somebody, it was like ABC or somebody tweeted out like, your folks are being advised to like arrive 4 hours early before their flight or whatever. And someone retweeted that and said, "This is my dad's time to shine." It's
Yeah.
like, you know, like dads are always wanting to be there early anyway. Like I know for me, I
anytime we go to the airport, we're getting there at 3 hours minimum. Like
you can't
at this point, you probably have to. You need to arrive the day before.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, shout out to all the folks traveling though. Just everybody stay safe, please. I mean, it's crazy out there. Anything else? Well, I guess so I did mention my bracket. I'll just mention yeah, Friday was tough for me because I had the two upsets I picked were Akron and what was the other one? There were two of my Sweet 16 teams got eliminated on Friday, which not ideal. And then we should mention one of us on this call has an alma mater who's in the Sweet 16, and it's not me.
Right.
And the lowest ranked team left in the field, Texas Longhorns, and they screwed up my bracket as well because I had Gonzaga going to the Elite Eight. I may have even had them going to the Final Four. But
I can't remember if I had them going to the Final Four or not.
So shout out to the Longhorns, I guess, for that. But then also shout out to the Iowa Hawkeyes, who I think I've mentioned on the show before. My wife's family are all Hawkeyes fans. They had probably the biggest upset of the tournament so far over the defending national champion Florida Gators.
Now their women's team had a
right. That was the drawback, right? So you had, we had men beat Florida on Sunday, and then Monday the women's team lost to Virginia. Was it?
Yep.
In double overtime. Yeah. So
that was a brutal game. I actually ended up having that on and watching a lot of that game. That ended up being the two women's games early in the day were actually really, really good to start the day. Yeah. It got a little rougher later.
Yeah. So I did have Gonzaga going to the Final Four. So my West bracket is completely screwed. The only chance for points I have left is if Arizona beats Arkansas this week. But I will say my East bracket is perfect except for what was the game I lost? TCU Ohio State, which was the first. Which we talked about. We talked about last week how there of the 4 9-8 matchups, we picked 3 of the 9 seeds, and the 1 9 seed we didn't pick was TCU, and they of course win the first game of the tournament. So, what were you gonna say? Sorry,
I have some good news. I am currently beating my 5-year-old, losing to the 10-year-old, but she has Kansas winning it all, so she is. That's going to hurt in the long run.
That's going to hurt. And who was your wife's pick again?
That would be Clemson.
Well, Hawkeyes took care of them in the first round.
My nephew I think he's also 5. He has the Longhorns winning it all. So his champion's still alive.
So he's in the will, is what you're saying.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Got it. Gotcha. Yeah. So I actually have 2 of my Final Four teams are now eliminated, Florida and Gonzaga. Wow. I do have my national championship matchup is still intact. I have Duke versus Michigan. That Michigan one, or that Duke one was Sienna was coloring inside the lines on Duke there for a little bit. That one got.
Yes, I also had Gonzaga to the Final Four this year.
Who did you have? Florida? Who did you have in the South region?
I have Duke and Michigan still alive. I had Florida and Gonzaga in the other spots.
Okay. We should also mention, obviously, as we are both close to Houston, U of H did defeat pretty soundly the A&M Aggies, which I know broke your heart.
That's a shame.
Yeah, as a proud. So in the South, on that side of the bracket, you've got Illinois versus Houston on one side. The winner of that game will play the winner of Farmageddon, Iowa and Nebraska. Which I think those games are in. Are those games in Houston? Where are those games?
Yeah, I think so. I think they are actually.
Yeah, Toyota Center. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. How about that?
Yeah, because they can't. I think they can't actually host it at their stadium if they're the like host city.
Right.
If like so that's kind of the rule.
Yeah, you can't have it at Ferretta or whatever the
film.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I do have all four of my final four left in the women's bracket.
Yeah, I didn't make a women's bracket.
Wow. Wow, Paul.
Yeah.
I thought this.
I didn't want to say anything with Triangle on the call. I didn't want to upset her.
Yeah, Paul.
I don't want to upset her, but
so
we've learned
podcast.
So we've learned. So a couple weeks ago, I don't watch the Olympics, so I hate America. I don't make a women's bracket, so I'm sexist. Yeah, I'm just batting 1,000. Yeah.
You're just killing it over here, Paul.
It's killing it. Our numbers are just tanking. Well, or we're going to get the wrong kind of listeners.
Joe Rogan.
Let's move on before we get into
anger anybody else.
So let's talk about some NFL.
Like O'Brien's speech, and the Jews bring the drugs in.
You're not going to lead with that, are you?
It's one of the best lines in that episode.
Because the setup is so great because they cut away, and when they come back, he's reading that line. For those that don't know, George is reading this line, which is so. Let me give a little context. So in this episode of The Limo, George is picking Jerry up from the airport. He's running late because his car crapped out on the highway, and so they have no way to get back to their apartment, and they see a guy with a sign for an O'Brien for a limo, and Jerry and George decide to pretend that, and they have the whole thing about who's going to be O'Brien and who's going to be Murphy, I think is the other guy.
Right. Yep.
And so George says, well, so they convince this guy that George is O'Brien. He gets in the limo, and all they know is that it's going to Madison Square Garden. Now, this is obviously
they
think the Knicks are in town.
No,
O'Brien was coming.
Well, the Knicks are definitely in town, but they think the Knicks are in town.
They think that the Knicks are playing a home game against the Bulls because O'Brien was coming from Chicago. He was flying in from Chicago because that's where Jerry was flying in from. So they call Elaine and Kramer. They're like, "Hey, we gotta have tickets to Madison Square Garden. You know, Jordan is coming into town." This is like early Michael Jordan. And then at some point, they pick up these other two passengers, and they start talking to him about, "Oh, are you ready for your speech, Mr. O'Brien?" And now, the part of this that's a little fuzzy is these two people are worship O'Brien, but they've never seen him, so they think
There's
that
no
George
picture on the
is
book jacket.
No picture on the book. That's a good part too, because when they first get in the car, George is like hiding his face. And Jerry's like, "So you've never seen O'Brien?" They're like, "No, there's no picture on the book jacket." He goes, "Hey, O'Brien, wake up." So then on the way to Madison Square Garden, they're talking about like the speech and all this, and and George's like, "Do you have a copy of that by any chance?"
Yeah. She's like, your secretary sent it over to me. It's
right.
Like, do you want to look it over? It's like, it couldn't hurt.
It couldn't hurt. And so they cut away. And when they come back, George is reading this line of, "And the Jews bring in the drugs and yada." So obviously you know where this is going. And Jerry just goes, "You're not going to lead with that, are you?"
So that line, and there's two other ones in this episode that always crack me up. One is one is like when they think the jig is up, and he goes, "Just jump out of the car." He's like, "We're going 60 miles an hour." He's like, "Just roll, you'll be fine." He's like, "What are you, Mannix?"
What are you, Mannix? Yeah,
and then the other one is like, when we get to Craven Lane, we'll just run. They can't shoot us in the city. And Jerry goes,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, nobody's ever gets shot in the city." Yeah. It's just that face.
The eye roll that Jerry gives him, No, so that is the limo episode, folks. Season 3 of Seinfeld. Trang, if you're still listening, go check that one out too while you're at it. No baseball references in that one, though, I don't think.
No.
Okay, so a little NFL news. I don't know. I'll be quick on the Saints stuff here. I don't know if the Cowboys had anything of significance between last week and this week, but the Saints, they better hide the moms in New Orleans because Zach Wilson is coming aboard. The New Orleans Saints signed to a 1-year deal. Former, what was he, number 2 overall pick by the Jets, Zach Wilson. I did not see this coming at all. I mean, it makes sense, I guess. Last year,
Tyler Shuck, your seat is officially hot.
Well, last year, the third string quarterback was Jake Haener. Jake Haener is now a Kansas City Chief. Jake Haener, yes. Obviously, Spencer Rattler is still on the team. I kind of took this as maybe this means Spencer Rattler might be available for the right price. If you're Zach Wilson, it kind of makes sense because Zach's still trying to rebuild his image. He obviously was with who was he with last year? Denver? Was he the backup?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, so got to learn in the Sean Payton tree there. Now with Kellen Moore. Who knows? If nothing else, he can build up his stock, maybe maybe he plays well in like the preseason and somebody throws him a bone going into the next season or something. So we'll see. I don't expect anything big out of this, but it's nice to have another veteran in the room. Although I think Zach Wilson and Tyler Shuck are the same age, which is kind of wild to think about it.
He's pretty old.
They were the same recruiting class, I believe, coming out of high school. The other thing about the Saints I will mention, Cam Jordan, we still don't have a definitive. The rumor that keeps coming up with Cam Jordan is the Chiefs. Like everybody kind of thinks he's going to and again, I said this on the show last week. I'll just repeat it here. If anybody should be allowed to ring chase, Cam Jordan is one of those people. He's been an exemplary member of the Saints. He's never shy to say what's on his mind. I talked with Ross Jackson a couple weeks ago. Cam had these comments about, of course, we want to win the Super Bowl. Like nobody goes into the season, not wanting to win the Super Bowl. And I asked Ross, I said, well, what else was he going to say? And Ross was like, well, he could have said nothing. Like he could have just, and I think that was Ross's way of kind of like, sometimes nothing is better. But not to put words in Ross's mouth, but so the Saints, a lot of I will say the other thing I will mention, pro days are going on right now. Obviously the draft is about a month away. We're getting excited here at Bless Them Boys for our watch along. We do our planning on doing a watch along for round 1 of the draft on Thursday night. So hopefully you can join us for that. But pro days are going on. A lot of pro days. LSU had their pro day on Monday. Obviously, there was a heavy Saints contingent there, of course, with proximity, but also Garrett Nussmeier, the former LSU quarterback. His father, Doug Nussmeier, is the offensive coordinator for the Saints. So obviously, they were there, kind of, also watching talent. The cornerback for LSU, Mansour Delane, ran a 4.35 40, I believe, or something obscene like that. So he's probably
you always want to add like 8 to 10 hundredths of a second on a pro day 40 time, but that may have
he's
they
4
were talking
4
for
sure.
They were talking about it, and they said maybe maybe the men's that may have taken him out of the Cowboys draft range.
I think, he might be top. Well, and it'll help the Saints because if he gets into the top 7, that means one of the receivers might fall to the Saints, or one of the other defensive players like Sonny Styles or Ruben Bain or somebody like that can fall. So we'll see what happens there. The other impressive 40 time coming out of was Harold Perkins, the linebacker, who's kind of seen as like a late day two, early day three pick. He ran into the 4.3s as well. I wouldn't mind seeing the Saints take a chance on him again, maybe like day three, kind of build up some linebacker depth there. And then the Saints had a very heavy presence at Ohio State's Pro Day today. Obviously, Ohio State's they're going to have 4 guys go in the top 10 potentially. Carnell Tate, Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, and who am I missing? Who's the other guy? Reese.
Arvell Reese. Yeah.
Arvell Reese. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Because he's never mocked to the Saints. That's why I never.
Yeah, who cares?
I did find it interesting. The Saints social media team on Twitter actually tweeted out highlights of Carnell Tate it said like Carnell Tate at Pro Day, but it was like from the Saints Twitter account. Like it wasn't like a fan account.
You think the admin is trying to like
I don't know. Well, I was trying to think. I was like, has a pro team ever done that? Like I get that you want to, like they did. So for LSU's Pro Day, they tweeted out again, the Saints team tweeted out like father looks on for dad or for son's Pro Day, obviously with Doug Nussmeier watching Garrett Nussmeier's Pro Day, like stuff like that, which makes sense. But this was just like Carnell Tate highlights at Ohio State's Pro Day, and it's like, okay, that feels weird. Maybe they're trying to make people think that's where they're going. I did see a clip of Brandon Staley, the defensive coordinator, talking to, I think it was Caleb Downs, with a look on his face like, yeah, man, this you the guy, like you who I want. But who knows what's going to happen. There was also a clip from LSU's Pro Day of Mickey Loomis, the GM, talking to Delane. That became a hot topic Monday.
Oh yeah, because he's
a lot of Saints Twitter was like, ooh, we never draft LSU players, but right. Maybe we can break a trend here. Or something.
Who's the last LSU guy that got drafted
by the Saints? Was it Will Clapp? No, I mean Devery Henderson was that a draft pick or was that a? I'm gonna look it up. Will Clapp is actually now a member of the staff with the Saints.
Paul, I need to bring something to your attention. So right now, Fanatics.
I'm aware of them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're having a monster sale. You can get things for as low as $3.99.
Okay.
So you can choose by like teams, leagues, or whatever. And so one of the options here is public figures.
Okay.
And so would you like to hear some of the shirts available for $3.99 in the public figures section of the Fanatics t-shirts?
I am concerned. I am but you know what? Go ahead. What do you got, buddy?
Martin Luther King.
Okay.
Bela Lugosi.
Oh, Bela Lugosi, yeah.
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 RuPaul.
All right.
Malcolm X.
Yeah. Okay.
Guy Fieri.
So what you're saying is not a consistent slate of
Maya Angelou. Rosa Parks.
What? Did Guy Fieri's looking at the website like, wait a minute, what?
And John Wayne is the
oh, okay, well, the Duke, yeah, of course. So to get off of that topic quickly, I was right. 2018, the Saints drafted Will Clapp. Did they draft? I don't remember Devery Henderson being drafted. I guess he was drafted. I thought he was.
I got to tell you, this Bela Lugosi shirt hits pretty.
Do you know who that is? Do you know who Bela Lugosi is?
Yeah, he's Dracula, right?
He was Dracula, yeah.
That's what the shirt is. That's what the shirt is. It's transforming into Dracula.
Yeah, he was the original. Yeah, he was the original. But he also was.
I'm going to send you a picture of this.
Okay. By the way, Devery Henderson. While we're speaking about him, happy birthday to Devery Henderson tomorrow, March 26th. So happy birthday to him. A native of Lafayette, Louisiana. But yeah, he was drafted. I forgot he was drafted in the second round by the Saints, 2004. So 22 years ago, coming up here. But yeah, Will Clapp was the last. Looks like he was the last LSU Tiger to be drafted by the Saints. Yep, that's a. Yep, that's quite a shirt. So any Cowboys shenanigans going on this week?
We signed Darian Kendrick, who, despite having played for the Seahawks last year, Trey had no idea who he was. Which I gotta tell you, I don't blame her because I've never heard of this guy in my life, but he has played.
Oh, for speaking the Rams. Of that, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah, he has played for the Rams and the Seahawks. So they added a depth piece at cornerback, which is good because they just needed to add bodies.
Speaking of, didn't know this guy played for your team. I think I talked about this last week, but Beanie Bishop was suspended.
By the
NFL, and yeah, I was like, and apparently he played for the Saints. So who knew? Yeah, that kind of falls in that category. I will let you know. I don't know if you caught this on the Netflix broadcast of the opening night here. Did you see that they have Jameis Winston out as like a correspondent?
I did. I think I did see that.
Yeah, I'm looking at a clip here of him reporting for grounds crew duty, as only Jameis Winston can. I mean, what a national treasure, Jameis Winston is. He really built himself back up after that whole crab leg thing and all the.
He really did, and the eating the W. That's another one.
Eating the W. Is he still with the Giants? Is he still on the roster, or did?
I have no idea.
Let me see. I gotta look this up now. Because I know obviously Jackson Dart is the starter there. Yep, Wikipedia says he's still with the Giants. So
okay,
that's good enough for me. Man, he was something.
I see you got is this a new Daniel Jeremiah draft?
No, sorry, this is not Daniel Jeremiah. This is actually Bucky Brooks. Daniel Jeremiah has not done a new draft since we talked about his. Well, I think it was 3.0 last week. This is Bucky Brooks, and he has the Saints at pick 8 going with Jordan Tyson, who's the wide receiver out of Arizona State, who is very talented, but there's injury questions around him. So would prefer not to have that at pick 8 if we can.
If you can avoid it.
If you can avoid it. Carnell Tate, obviously, in the mix. Makai Lemon out of USC. I know the Saints did meet with him prior to his pro day.
The problem with Makai Lemon is I'm never going to be able to look at him after the interviews.
Yeah.
my favorite thing from that was somebody tweeted and is like Makai Lemon on the phone with his agent after the combine. He's like, yeah, dude, I did those interviews just like you said, all sensual like.
I mean, it was something, man.
But that was uncomfortable.
I will say this: if you watch him play, he can play. I mean, you bet he better.
Yeah, if you're gonna act like that.
Now, I did want to talk about Bucky Brooks's picks for the Cowboys here. So at 12, he has you guys with Ruben Bain. How do we feel about the arm length? How do we feel about? Don't care. Yeah, don't care. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I don't care about arm length when you go into the national champion on a run through the national championship playoffs and just routinely destroy everybody.
Yeah,
like at that point,
yeah,
like, I mean, I don't care.
Yeah, and like he put out a workout video, Ruben Bain did, and somebody was saying like his hip flex, like the way he dips, is like pretty obscene, like pretty abnormal. Like
I feel like he's not going to get to. I feel like he's not going to fall that far. Is the thing.
I don't think he is. I mean, look, we've seen guys fall for sillier things. I think
somebody call Laramie Tunzel and get him one of those
right.
bong
right. I do know. I mentioned the Saints' presence at pro days. I do believe Kellen Moore himself went to Miami's pro day just by himself because everybody else was at. I think it was the same day as LSU's pro day. So I believe Kellen Moore was there on his own, obviously checking out possibly Ruben Bain. There's the offensive lineman for Miami. Forget his name, but he's
I know you do want the Saints to suspend that eighth pick over on a offensive lineman.
So I will say this Penn State offensive lineman, Ione, I believe is his last name. I don't want him going. I don't want him picking at 8, but he could help. Like, I mean, he could, he could definitely.
There was somebody had a draft of. What was it you that told me about where the Cowboys like traded up to like number something like 3 to get Jeremiah Love?
I don't think. Yeah, okay. I don't. I mean, I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember.
Yeah, somebody posted that, and I was like, if that happens, I think I would just put my head through the window.
Well, I mean, I mentioned it with Ross when Ross was on the show about because this was before the Travis Etienne signing. I said, we talked about Love could be in play at 8, and I mentioned something about what if a team like the Chiefs trade up. And he said, well, look, drafting a running back in the top 10 is one thing, but trading up to draft a running back in the top 10, you can have that life. Don't give me that life. Like you can have that.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah. So, is this Field Yates have a new draft? Maybe we can look at his. Let me pull his up real quick.
Paul, I'm scoping out the weather forecast for tomorrow. Very important stuff.
Do you want to expand upon that, or why it's important?
So I've discovered that you can bet. No, prediction market.
I should have talked Trang into an intervention for you.
So I did hit my first bet yesterday at for the high at Houston Hobby to be between 83 and 84 degrees. So,
man, I'm telling you, like, so every once in a while, there's something comes along that I'm like, makes me think there's all this money out there and they're just trying to give it away. And this is one of those things where it's just like, they're just letting you bet on the weather. Like, just, like, you're basically doing a meteorologist job, and you're just like, So it's God bless America. That's all I can say.
Great country.
So Field Yates, everything's going great. Field Yates, he has the Saints at number 8. He has the Saints picking Ruben Bain at number 8. So that's something. At pick 12, he has the Cowboys going with Jermod McCoy, the corner out of Tennessee. I believe the one that is coming off an ACL injury, if I'm not mistaken. And then at pick 20, he has the Cowboys going with R. Mason Thomas, defensive end from your favorite school, Oklahoma. I know you're a fan of the Cowboys drafting Oklahomans. So
I was about to make a joke. I think I'll pass on that. I'm gonna leave that. We've already become sexist. We don't need to. We don't need to.
We don't need
homophobic.
We don't need. We don't need that heat. We don't need all that on us. For our friend Trang, since she was kind enough to join us, Field Yates has the Seahawks taking Avion Terrell, a corner, which I think Trang mentioned, right? She was looking for corner in the draft, so there you go. Second round, this is a 2-round mock. So in the second round, he has the Saints picking Chris Johnson, not that Chris Johnson, not CJ2K from Titan from years gone by, but Chris Johnson, a corner out of San Diego State. So 2 defensive players. Cowboys don't have a second-round pick, correct?
We do not.
I will tell you, the Jets, with the second-round pick the Cowboys would have had, Field Yates have them picking Christian Miller, a defensive tackle from the University of Georgia. So there's that. Any Longhorns here? Who's the Longhorn that's going to get drafted? Are we expecting a Longhorn in the first round this year? I feel like we are, but I'm
not sure. I feel like there's got to be somebody, right?
I'm looking. Hold on, I'm scrolling through here. A couple Oregon Ducks, Utah. I feel like there's one obvious one that we're missing, but obviously Ohio State's the big school to watch. Field Yates has 4 Ohio State Buckeyes going in a row, picks 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there is that. I'm not seeing them any long. I'm seeing Texas Tech. They got a couple guys. Obviously, David Bailey, Jacob Rodriguez, who I think you and I are both a fan of.
Yes, big fan of them. He's one of the guys that I actually would not be mad if the Cowboys ended up taking him at 20.
Let's see, University of Tech. Anthony Hill, I believe, was he a linebacker from Texas? I think I saw him.
Yeah, he is, and I think he's actually, because the Cowboys were meeting with him at the Texas. The Cowboys were at his pro day.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a couple. So, Malik Muhammad. That's another name I've seen in some draft circles there. Or obviously the March for Arch will start this season. We'll reconvene next year at this time when Arch Manning's going to refuse to play for the Jets, or however that's going to go. I do think we talked a little bit about this last week, but it feels like the Cardinals are definitely in like March for Arch territory with their quarterback room of Jacoby Brissett and Gardner Minshew, and possibly Jimmy Garoppolo. That was a name that got floated out there, but we'll see. I'm trying to think any other draft nuggets or any other. When is so UT had their pro day already?
Yeah, because the coaching staff was there recently. I don't know if they did pro days yet. If they did the stuff, but they were at Texas for interviewing several different players there. I think.
It's a short.
I think Christian Parker was also there.
It's a short trip, I would imagine.
Yeah.
From Dallas to Austin. So we haven't really talked. I mean, we've talked a little bit about this, and I know you've kind of made your thoughts known. But just to reiterate, for the Cowboys at picks 12 and 20, are we looking for 2 defensive players? Would you be shocked if either of those picks was not a defensive player?
It would have to be some sort of otherworldly talent. If Jeremiah Love falls to 20, I guess maybe
What if he falls to 12?
I still think you need defense. I still think I'd rather either take a defensive guy or trade back, even if you get wiped out.
So I did a mock draft on actually, you know what, just for fun, since we're here. Close the show out this week. I will recommend the Pro Football Focus mock draft simulator, but costs money to do trades and stuff. So I I usually go with the Pro Football Network mock draft simulator because it's free. So that's what I'm going to use here. So how about this? So I'm going to do Saints and Cowboys. We'll just do a one round mock draft here, and we'll just kind of see what happens. All right, so getting to the Saints pick here. So draft has started. So Mendoza at 1. Jets go with Arvell Reese. The Cardinals go with Ruben Bain. The Titans go David Bailey. The Giants go Carnell Tate. The Browns go Caleb Downs. And Jeremiah Love goes to the Commanders. How do you feel about seeing Jeremiah Love twice this season? Now, I'm with the Saints at 8. So I have one trade offer. The offer is from the Dolphins. They want to come up from 11, and they're going to give me pick 75 in return.
Okay.
The best player available on the board right now is Sonny Styles. Behind that is the offensive lineman from Miami, Jordan Tyson from Arizona State, Caleb Lumo, the offensive tackle from Utah, and then Mansour Delane, the corner from LSU. So we know the Saints do not trade back at all. Like, it just doesn't happen. I feel like if this were the way the board fell, it would either be Brandon Staley pounding the table for Sonny Styles, or it's going to be one of the receivers. Either Tyson or Mekhi Lemon. I mean, trading back isn't a bad idea. Get another top 100 pick. That wouldn't be horrible. But I'm going to try to be as – I feel like I'm going to go Sonny Styles. I just think he's – now, the thing about Sonny Styles is if you're we talk about picking running back in the top 10. If you're picking a linebacker in the top 10, he damn sure better be Fred Warner or like somebody of that ilk, which a lot of people feel like Sonny Styles is. So we'll see. All right, Cowboys are up here at 12. So they got 2 trade offers, buddy. So let me run these by you here. So you've got one trade offer from the 49ers who are going to send you 27, 58, and next year's second for pick 12. Or the Carolina Panthers who are going to send you 19 and 51 for 12 and pick 180.
Okay.
Do you want the best players on the board?
Yeah. Who are the best defensive guys? Especially give me defensive end.
So I will tell you. So the Saints. I went with Styles at 8 for the Saints. The offensive lineman from Miami went to Kansas City. Dylan Thieneman for the Oregon, the safety from Oregon, went to the Bengals at 10, and Jordan Tyson went to the Dolphins at 11. So your best defensive players, your top 5 defensive players available right now are Delane from LSU, Jermod McCoy from Tennessee, both cornerbacks. The best edge rusher available is Keldrick Falk from Auburn, Peter Woods, defensive tackle from Clemson, and then Avion Terrell, who's a corner from Clemson. Those are your best. And I'll throw in Caden McDonald, defensive tackle from Ohio State, Akeem Mesidor, the other edge rusher from Miami.
Yeah, I'm still a little worried about Mesidor's injury concerns there. Mm-hmm. I think this is kind of a no-brainer. I think you just go ahead and pull the trigger on Mansour Delane, get an elite talent at cornerback.
Sounds good. We will do that. And then now we get to pick 20. You've got 3 trade offers at pick 20. So you've got 49ers will give you 27 and 58 for pick 20. The Texans will give you pick 28 and next year's second for pick 20. The Jaguars, get ready for this, buddy. So the Jaguars do not have a first-round pick, so they will give you 56, 81, 88, 124, and next year's second to come up to 20.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
What was the 49ers offer again?
49ers are offering 27 and 58. So basically their first and their second.
See, I think I would do that deal. What's available?
You want the defensive players available?
Yeah.
So before I do that, I will say, so we went with Delaney at 12. Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle from Georgia, went to the Rams at 13. Jamad McCoy to the Ravens at 14. Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon, to the Buccaneers at 15. The Jets went with Makai Lemon. The Jets drafted a wide receiver from USC. That works out for them sometimes. The Lions went Keldrick Falk from Auburn. The Vikings went Caleb Lumu, offensive tackle from Utah, and the Panthers went Caden Proctor, the offensive tackle from Alabama. So kind of a offensive tackle run here. I'm guessing the Cowboys will not go that route. Your best defensive players available are Peter Woods, defensive tackle from Clemson, Avion Terrell, corner from Clemson, Caden McDonald, defensive tackle from Ohio State, again, Mesidor, the edge rusher from Miami, Brandon Cisse, C-I-S-S-E. Cisse, that's right. Cornerback from South Carolina, who I think I did see him mocked to the Cowboys in a mock draft.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know much about him, but I do know he had like a 10-foot broad jump at the combine and like a 41-foot vertical. That's all I could really find on him. So I'll also mention C.J. Allen, the linebacker from Georgia, who's gotten some press during this draft cycle. So do you want to take the 49ers offer, or do you want to?
Yeah, I'll take the trade there. Okay,
so let me pull this up. So you're going to get 27 and 58. We're only doing a first round mock, so it'll just be 27 for our purposes. 49ers are going to come up, and let me see who they came up for. They came up for Omar Cooper, the wide receiver out of Indiana. The Eagles traded up to 21 for Spencer Fanu, the tackle from Utah. The Chargers went with Ione, the offensive guard from Penn State. The Steelers got Mesidor. The Steelers traded up to 23, or maybe they traded back from 23. Anyway, at pick 23, they got Mesidor. The Browns at 24 got Blake Miller, the offensive tackle from Clemson. Peter Woods, the defensive tackle from Clemson, goes to the Bears. So back-to-back Clemson Tigers there. And then the Bills, this is a very popular pick for mock drafts. Bills go with A&M wide receiver Casey Concepcion, trying to beef up that wide receiver room along with DJ Moore. So at 27 now, the Cowboys, you've got Avion Terrell, Caden McDonald, Brandon Cisse, CJ Allen, and Christian Miller.
I think this is the point where I feel like pulling the. I would take Avion Terrell, except for the fact that we've already gone corner with the first pick.
Can I give you a wild card here?
Okay.
Emmanuel McNeil Warren, the safety from Toledo, who is supposed to be kind of a freak. Like,
I like him. I just don't
6'3",
know about
209.
I guess we could double. I guess maybe there's still somebody left. I think the best way to go here is taking CJ Allen,
the linebacker from Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. CJ Allen, linebacker from Georgia. Let's see. They have some comps here. So he has, he didn't do a lot of the. Was he even at the combine? I don't even know if he got invited to the combine. Sonny Styles, 9.99 RAS is ridiculous. So the comps I'm seeing on here compared to CJ Allen are guys like Patrick Queen, who's still in the league. Hardy Nickerson, going all the way back to whatever year that was. Actually, he was undrafted. Hardy Nickerson was undrafted, but the size is similar, 6 foot, 230. So, all right. So we're going to lock in CJ Allen, the linebacker from Georgia. Finally, a team in the NFC East, not the Eagles, drafting a Georgia player. So Dallas ends up with Delane and CJ Allen after trading back to 27. Saints end up with Sonny Styles. Let me give you kind of the full results here. So after you guys picked at 27, the Texans go defensive tackle Christian Miller. The Chiefs, with their second first-round pick from the Rams as part of the McDuffie trade, get Chris Bell, wide receiver out of Louisville. A lot of Saints fans are excited about Chris Bell because he obviously teammates of Tyler Shuck. Apparently, Tyler Shuck has been talking him up to the Saints staff. So we'll see what happens there. The Dolphins go Avion Terrell with the pick that they got in the Jalen Waddle trade from Denver. The Patriots go TJ Parker, edge rusher out of Clemson. And I definitely don't think this is happening. The Seahawks at 32 draft Ty Simpson, the quarterback out of Alabama. Oh, how do you think Trang would feel about that one? I don't think she'd feel too good about that.
You know, he's the best quarterback in this class, though.
Some would say, yeah, somewhat. My favorite part of that.
Some might be paid to say.
My favorite part of that is Orlovsky's like, yeah, I texted 15 people, and only 2 of them didn't agree with me, or something like. Did you see that when he tweeted that out? Today.
I did not see that he tweeted that out.
Yeah, it's that time of draft. It's that time of the draft cycle where you gotta start just saying stuff, just see what happens. Any breaking news while we're here? Anything?
Nothing that I've seen. I mean, the only news that I saw was the Cowboys signed a guy I'd never heard of.
There you go. And apparently Trang hadn't heard of either, and he was on her team last year.
Super Bowl champion Darian Kendrick. One-time Super Bowl champ is on the.
That's on the resume, buddy. Listen, when you can mark him down as Seahawks Super Bowl champ on Immaculate Grid. You can definitely do that moving forward. All right. We need to do another Immaculate Grid at some point. We haven't done one of those.
We do. I need to get back into shape, though.
Yeah, we need to get back into playing shape. Speaking of which, a former Saint Cowboy legend, Peyton Turner, is no longer a Cowboy. He signed with the Detroit Lions. I don't know how much he did with the Cowboys. He did next to nothing with the Saints. My favorite, I think he's the guy that Ryan from Saints Block Party Podcast used to say, he's just out there doing cardio. Like he ain't even
just running around.
He's just running. He ain't even doing anything. He's just doing cardio. And then there was like one game where he blocked a kick. I think it was against Atlanta. He like blocked a field goal that would have tied the game or something. And that was like his one contribution. So if he did anything better than that with the Cowboys, let me know. But I feel like you would have mentioned it, but no.
I don't think he's.
You know what? I remember what I wanted to ask Trang about. We forgot to ask her about her favorite Seahawk or former Seahawk now, Tyreek Woolen, who's now a
that's right,
Philadelphia Eagle. Yeah, forgot to ask her.
I was gonna ask her if she thought that he could help the team self-destruct from the inside.
I mean, have you heard these rumors that apparently the Eagles and the Patriots have a handshake deal for after June 1st that'll send AJ Brown to that. Yeah. Well, we saw how handshake deals went with Crosby and the Ravens. So
right.
Hopefully AJ's gonna fail that physical. Yeah.
Hopefully his book bag is ready.
I mean, yeah, that was what a crazy day because that was. So the Crosby trade thing happens. The USA lost to Italy in the World Baseball Classic like that night because we were live chatting about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then something else happened that night, sports related. That was
stupid.
Wild. It was the Bam Adebayo. It was the Adebayo.
Oh, yeah, the 83 points.
The 83 points because I remember you I forget how I had the NBC game on, wherever the game of the week was, and all of a sudden they're cutting live to the Miami Heat. And I'm like, what's going on with the Miami Heat? Bam Adebayo, 83 points with 37 free throws or whatever it was. So anyway, by the way, real quick score check. Top of the ninth, we got Yankees 7, Giants 0. So Yankees up a touchdown. Aaron Judge just grounded out.
That's good. That's good news for the Padres.
For the Padres,
they'll start out with a half game lead on the Giants tomorrow.
Who did the Rangers start out with this weekend?
I knew this.
The Astros have a home series with the Angels of Anaheim.
They're not at home. They're playing. I know they're starting Eovaldi against the Phillies.
Oh, the classic. Yeah, classic. Who's the Immaculate Grid match there? Cliff Lee?
Yeah. Well, I guess starting soon there'll also be Andrew McCutchen you could use.
Oh.
So Andrew McCutchen made the major league roster for the Rangers out of training camp.
Wait a minute. The Pittsburgh Pirate Andrew McCutchen?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize he was still in the league. I thought
2012, the 2012 version of me is incredibly psyched about this.
Man, this Rangers team would have been awesome in 2012. Okay. All right. Yeah, so baseball's underway. Basketball, obviously we got Sweet 16 this weekend. So, Sweet 16 this weekend. Yep. Shout out to the Longhorns. Who do the Longhorns play? We probably should.
Wait! Don't tell me because I know this.
Go ahead. I'm just going to look it up. Think famous saint, great saint legend, about to go in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, Purdue. That's right.
Yeah.
I was listening to it's sad because I was listening to a podcast breaking down all the Sweet 16 matchups on my way home from work today.
But do you, by the way, speaking of brackets, do you do the what do they call them? The redo brackets where you just start from the Sweet 16?
Yeah, I haven't done that. I'm not.
I've done those every once in a while. I'll do one of those, but this year probably not. I'm getting annihilated in the office pool. Although I think I was one of the only people who had High Point to beat. Who did High Point beat? Not Arkansas. They lost to Arkansas. Whoever they beat, because there was an email that was sent Thursday evening by my boss to the group. Was like, who picked High Point? I was like,
I just remember
right here, buddy.
I just remember that somebody was laughing at us because you got beat by the food court.
Was he? Was it Wisconsin? It was Wisconsin.
It was Wisconsin.
That's what it was.
And actually about is like my sports team just something about their sports team. Yeah, and it was because someone had posted about how they have those restaurants around campus so that you can learn about how to do business deals over dinner.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, he just got beat by my team. Just got beat by a really expensive food court.
No, the reason I remember it is because it reminded me. I talked about this last week on the show. 20 years ago, my alma mater, Northwestern State, beat Iowa as a bracket buster. In the opening round of the NCAA tournament, and that High Point Wisconsin game reminded me a lot of it because I went out for my walk and I kept track of it, and at one point it looked like Wisconsin was just going to run away with it. They were up double digits, and High Point just kept coming back, and then they finally they had
broke
that
through.
Didn't they? Then the guy who scored the go-ahead bucket, that was his first 2-point bucket of the season or something like that.
He had missed a handful during the year, but pretty much all of his shots were from three. He had a handful of twos that were at the end of the shot clock sort of situation.
Yeah.
But that was the first made two that he had all season because they were
crazy.
10-point dogs, and so I was like, just keep it within 10 points, and I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
But then they ended up pulling ahead, and so that was exciting.
One last real quick thing regarding North Carolina. So obviously, we mentioned Belichick a minute when we were talking with Trang. So somebody tweeted, because North Carolina fired, or they're going to part ways with Hubert Davis, their basketball coach. Somebody tweeted that North Carolina has offered the job to Phil Jackson to keep in after all the success of hiring Bill Belichick last year.
Nice.
And for a split second, I was like, "Wait a minute, is that for real? Like, are they really going to do that?" I mean, who would be the other? I mean, well, no, Popovich. Popovich is in. Our best thoughts to Greg Popovich. I know he's had some health problems. As much as I hated playing against those Spurs teams as a Mavericks fan, Greg Popovich is undoubtedly one of the greatest coaches in NBA history.
Yeah, he's really the only guy I can think of who's like old, but won a bunch of championships.
Is Larry Brown still with us? But he's got to be in this.
Oh, he's up there too.
Yeah, he's got to be. Larry Brown. How about Larry Bird? You want to hire Larry Bird as your basketball coach? There we go. Why do I feel like No, he's still with us. He is 86.
How about Hubie Brown?
Oh my gosh! Listen, when I first started watching basketball, Hubie Brown was the voice of like.
Oh, Hubie Brown's great. He's a great announcer.
He was fantastic. I was actually you'll appreciate this. When he went back to coaching the Grizzlies, I was mad because I was like, no, Hubie's got to be on the call. I can't have him coaching and didn't he win like Coach of the Year with the Grizzlies?
Well, and Chris Vernon always tells the story about when he first came to Memphis. Like he talked about how like here's the situation. And he's like, and he like before analytics were even a thing, he was like, you look at the point differential. If it's if you're this many points per game, if your point differential per game is like this many points, you're a great team. And he's like, watch the point differential, and that will tell you if we're making progress. And it was like that's kind of how like he explained it to people, and so like he knew what he was talking about. So great coach.
Yeah, I know they made a big deal. Was it last season? He called his last game on ESPN, and they made a big deal out of it. But no, Hubie's still with us. God bless him, man. 92 years young, Hubie Brown. Yeah, I mean, everybody talks about like Lee and respect, and obviously they should. Lee Corso, Dick Vitale. I put Hubie Brown in that same pantheon of like voices of their sport who always elevated what they were, any game that they were calling. So shout out to them. Shout out to all those folks. All these folks are, we're losing all of our voices. And we were talking about baseball with Trang. I remember Sunday Night Baseball with Joe Morgan and
John Miller.
John Miller. Yeah, John Miller and Joe Morgan. That was a Sunday night tradition, man. I mean, even if it was two teams that you didn't really care about, you still turned on, and then I remember when I kind of was paying attention to the Astros, if they would be on Sunday night, it was like a privilege that they were getting to play on Sunday Night Baseball. So shout out to them. So it looks like the Yankees are gonna win the opening night here. So I guess Mr. Steinbrenner, wherever he is, will be happy. And George, for that matter, and Larry David probably for that matter.
True.
Anything else before we sign off for this week, buddy?
I think that's it.
What do we got coming up? So next week we'll be in April when we speak to everybody. It'll be April Fool's, right? Well, April Fool's is
Wednesday, so we'll probably end up doing.
It'll be still March for us. Yeah. Hey, you gonna watch Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano on Saturday, May 16th?
I think I'm gonna miss that one.
You gonna pass on that one?
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's there. It's on Netflix. So next week we'll have some more NFL news. Obviously, we we talked about the scheduling stuff with Trang. We know that I think they've announced all the international games. I don't think there'll be any more movement there. One thing I did want to mention, maybe we could talk more about this next week. Mike Florio was on Rich Eisen's show, and Mike Florio's covered the NFL for years. And he found it interesting that the Super Bowl in 2028, that'll be in Atlanta, does not have a date yet, which he took it to mean that this 18-game schedule is closer than we think. But from what he's hearing, the 18-game schedule would come with it 2 bye weeks, and each players would only be required to play 17 games.
Which is a fantasy football nightmare.
Right. Now, I think he said he would expect like quarterbacks would be exempt from that. Like you wouldn't have to like pick a week to like start your backup quarterback. But for me, the even more important thing is you got to start a backup left tackle and right tackle.
Yep.
Like that's significant. I mean, that's unless you do a thing where like you move your starting right tackle to left tackle for a week and then put a backup there and then switch it.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm sure that won't cause any problems.
I mean, I'm sure. Well, and then like what happens if they're injured? So like if you're injured, does that count as your week off? Like does that count? You know what I mean? Like, or do you have to like non-injury sit somebody else? So I don't know. It would be a nightmare. But obviously, if that does come to fruition for the 2027 season, then that would push back the Super Bowl.
Right.
God knows how long. So something to keep an eye on. Like I said, it's the middle. We haven't gotten to the draft yet. So we're just football wise, we're looking for things to talk about. But hey, we got baseball now we can talk about. Mm-hmm. So we'll probably I'll try to watch a little bit of the Astros between now and next week, and I'm sure you'll keep up with the Rangers a little bit. We'll see what happens with March Madness. We'll keep up with that. Maybe the Hawkeyes can keep this run going.
The Rangers are still the last American League team to win the World Series.
I did not know that.
That's true.
There's a feather in your cap.
That's right.
Oh, you know what? I remember now. It wasn't Bregman who went to the Tigers. It was Valdez.
Oh yeah,
Framber Valdez. He went to the Tigers. I knew it was an Astro that went to the Tigers. Yankees just locked up the win here, 7-0, went final. So next week, some more March Madness. We'll talk about baseball a little bit. Whatever football news comes in, we do have on the horizon. So Sweet 16 this weekend, Final Four the following weekend, and then for our you golf fans out there, the Masters coming up the weekend after the Final Four. So if you keep up with that, that'll be something. That's always something I enjoy watching every year. So anyway, but we'll talk more about that next week. Hope everybody has a good rest of the week, and we will see everybody next week. So happy opening day. Happy baseball, everybody.
Go Rangers.
Sure.